Namaste and welcome to Iswara to Swara, tracing the thread of reality. It is an attempt to prepare for Gudiya Sambrama 2026, and the theme is Swara Loka. In the weekly sections, Dr. M.V. Vishwanath Guhaji takes us on an expansive yet microscopic journey through the Ramayana. Dr. Guha is a distinguished scholar and educator with an extensive understanding of Indian knowledge systems. We have been very blessed to attend his sessions. He holds a PhD in Sanskritam and has done expertise research in Valmiki's Ramayana, the Upanishads, Sankhya philosophy, and the Arthashastra. His series of talks are indexed on his YouTube channel. Please look it up and follow him on Insta. Thank you so much, Guha.
आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् वन्दे गुरूणां चरणारविन्दे सन्दर्शितस्वात्मसुखावबोधे जनस्य ये जाङ्गलिकायमाने संसारहालाहलमोहशान्त्यै. Welcome back, everybody, to the ongoing series on insights into Ramayana. Even though it's such a powerful as well as popular amongst all the epics that we have, one of the outstanding itihasas that have ever been written. So many works are going on in terms of itihasa. There is an attempt to reclaim Bharatiya itihasa, which is absolutely brilliant. We have to reclaim our itihasa. And what is the role of Ramayana? Even if in terms of reclaiming itihasa, if we have to see, what role does Ramayana play in inspiring the young minds in the recapturing of our itihasa? Because Ramayana serves as an itihasa. Ramayana itself is an itihasa. So it shows how to present an itihasa, and without making any biased editions, without making any sort of wrong notions or promoting any propaganda. How beautifully both, and if we take a look at the two itihasas that our country has given to the world, this nation has known, Ramayana and Mahabharata. One is more practical in terms of how to practice dharma on a day-to-day basis, that is Ramayana, and what are the nuances, what are the intricacies, how to understand dharma. So majority of Mahabharata is about the exposition of dharma. So if we take a look at these two itihasas, we get to know that dharma is at the core of itihasa, or dharma should be at the core of itihasa. Because if we have to say that itihasa, that is the meaning of the word itihasa, does it happen? This is how it was. We have to say that it means that it requires a certain stability, and that stability is ensured. That which ensures that stability itself is called as. At the core of itihasa, we find dharma. So without dharma, the itihasa would not have any sort of existence, not have any meaning whatsoever. So when we try to continue the path of itihasa, when we try to continue recapturing our itihasa, what we must absolutely remember, essentially remember, is that at the core of itihasa lies dharma. And Ramayana and Mahabharata, both of them have been great examples of dharma. They have upheld dharma, they have followed dharma, they have laid down the rules for dharma. Now, in the continuation, what Rama means to this and what Ramayana has contributed to dharma, and how it is more important for us to see Iswara through Swara in terms of Ramayana. That is the whole idea that has been tried in order to present. Now, we were discussing in the previous session, uh, we saw how seven vibhaktis all have got, in one or the other sense, the meaning of Ramayana. Meaning of Ramayana gets exposed, or it becomes more evident, even if we try any of the seven different parts, any of the seven different vibhaktis. So in all vibhaktis, Ramayana is like a guidebook for us. Now, if such a Ramayana was to be presented, then some research, some groundwork, some homework also have been done. Without proper homework, without proper research, I don't think uh, Valmiki would have been able to come up with such kind of a magnificent work. So we are discussing about what sort of research went behind Valmiki's authoring of Ramayana. If Valmiki brought out such an Adikavya, if he brought such an Itihasa, if he gifted us this Itihasa, then what was the preliminary work that happened before he began writing, before he began composing Ramayana? What exactly happened? Preliminary work that went behind um, Valmiki's work, that is Ramayana. What exactly happened to Valmiki? What changed in Valmiki? What were the questions that Valmiki had, and how his questions were answered by none other than Narada, and how that led Valmiki to witness Ramayana within himself and then bring it out to the world. So the creation is always a huge process. So most of the times we forget that it goes through a lot, many things that one may forget looking into. As long as we ourselves are not given the task of creating something, we won't know what all things go behind creating something. So, for example, as an artist, if they have to create something, whether it is a painting or a music, a composition or a dance production, whatever it is, whichever form of art it is, if they have to create, there are so many factors that requires before they even actually are able to present it. The presentability or the presentable edition of that art is one thing, but what goes behind is what makes that art profound. That's what makes that art chirasthayi. That is the word. Even with Ramayana, when Brahma was impressed and Brahma came in front of Brahma appeared in front of Valmiki and said that Yavat sthasyanti girayah saritascha mahitane tavad Ramayana katha tvatkrita charishyati, is what Brahma told. Yavat sthasyanti girayah, as long as the mountains stand tall, saritascha mahitala, as long as the rivers keep flowing in this universe, tavad Ramayana katha, up until then, Ramayana Katha written by you, composed by you, Vatkrita Ramayana Katha. There could be hundreds of other Ramayana Kathas, but none of them got a certification by Brahma. None of them got that seal, that ISO certificate that industries usually seek. And that sort of certification was given by none other than the creator himself. He is the original Kavi. Brahma is actually called as Kavi. If at all one wants or one seeks a validation, then they must seek validation from highest office. So when it comes to poetry, which is the highest office that you have, Brahma, who himself is called as, who himself is known as Kavi, is the highest office. So he got that approval from Brahma. It's like getting an approval from Nataraja and for a dance performer, saying that Bhale, well done, Dil khush kar diya. If Nataraja were to speak and say this to a dancer, don't you think a dancer would appreciate that? They would consider this to be the highest award. Not any other awards would come even closer to such kind of a certification. And Valmiki got that certification. That is the reason why we are, even to this day, so interested, so much invested in the study of Ramayana. With no disrespect to any other forms of Ramayana, all other types of Rama Katha that has been presented to us. But Valmiki's Ramayana still holds that high ground. The reason being certification by Brahma. If that has to happen, imagine what kind of research must have went behind before creating such a magnificent work. And in this process, you are looking that every research problem begins with a question, isn't it? So they need to have a problem, they need to have a research question. And Valmiki also had a question. He was searching for a complete man. He was searching for a Paripurna Purusha. Not just Purna Purusha, but Paripurna Purusha. No matter from whatever angle you want to observe, a 360-degree angle examination, and it should be 100%. It should come out to be the best with such kind of an ask. He met Narada and he asked Narada, Konvasmin Sampratam Loke Gunavan. The first quality, first virtue, the first guna that he mentioned was Gunavan itself. So, what exactly does guna mean here? We discussed that in one of the sessions where we saw that 8 Atma gunas were taken into consideration. So, the summarization of all these 8 Atma gunas should be present in one person. That goes on to show that how strongly one is deeply rooted within oneself. That Atmasat, there is a beautiful word called as Atmasat. We hear a different version of that with a different word, like Jnanagnis Sarvakarmani Bhasmasat Kurute Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. We hear the word Bhasmasat. So Bhasmasat means turns everything into ashes. So similarly, Atmasat, everything that he touches, it's like a Midas touch. So everything that he touches turned into gold. But when an Atmavan, when a great Purusha, an Atmajnani, when he touches or when he feels, when he sees, when he hears, when he tastes, when he smells, when he interacts with anything and everything, it turns into an Atmavan. That is the importance of having these Atmagunas. The ability to see for an administrator, strictly speaking in sense of an administrator, because Rama was a great administrator. And being a Gunavan, to possess the ability to see the Atma Gunas everywhere. They are universal qualities. Vaishvika Gunaha. They are not confined to any certain people, any certain number of groups. These are all global qualities. One can expect these qualities, one can see these qualities present everywhere. It's not like it should be found only in a specific person. And that is the beauty that lies in the word Gunavan, that he is not only approachable for everybody, he also presented himself in such a way that in every single thing, Rama was able to see that Atma. That is the reason why he had Atma Guna. The first one amongst them, just a glimpse of how Atma Guna is multiplied or is taken to a different level of global vision. Daya. Let us take the example of Daya. Bhuta Daya. So to have that kindness, to have that compassion towards all creatures. Even the Yoga Sutras say this. They say that this one of these should be considered as a Mahavrata. And how do you make this as a Mahavrata? They say that it's very simple to make this as a Mahavrata. All you need to do is break the barrier of time, place, and circumstances. Don't confine yourself saying that, yes, I do practice daya, compassion, only on certain time, only at a certain time. When I am feeling happy, I am compassionate towards people. When I myself am going through some struggle, one cannot expect me to be compassionate. I mean, the world has come to such kind of conclusions nowadays that uh, if I am suffering, nane kashtapadta iddaga, then how can somebody expect me to be compassionate towards others? Rama was also going through a lot, many things, but never do we witness, never do we see, even for an instance, where he had lost that Bhuta Daya. He always had that compassion in his heart. And see, that is the There is the kind of Atma Guna that gets reflected. And then Desha, when I am at home, when I am living in my own space, surrounded by my own people, then I am very compassionate towards my people. But if I move abroad, if I move somewhere else, then I need not be uh, compassionate towards them. I need not act kind towards them. And it's not true. That isn't how things work. The way Rama handled, the way Rama interacted with the people of Ayodhya when he was there briefly before he went to forest, for a very brief period of time when Rama stayed in Ayodhya, the Ayodhya Nagara Nivasis, Dasharatha had made this plan. Dasharatha thought that uh, I have grown old. Okay, now is the right time for me to step away, and Rama is the best person, according to me, to take over the reins. Not just because he is the eldest, also because Gunair Jyeshtha. That's what Dasharatha says. Not only Janmana Jyeshtha. Janmana Jyeshtha means, by birth, he is the eldest one. Not only Rama was the eldest by birth, but also Jyeshtha, also great by his qualities. But before Dasharatha could take the decision, it's a very interesting part that we need to understand how exactly interaction with public, praja, praja samvada worked back in those days. He convenes a meeting where he brings together all public representatives from the lowest level to the cabinet grade. Every single person who is a sort of public representative were called upon by Dasharatha. And the task in front of them was, he proposes that this is my decision. I think that this is the right time for me to step away and Rama should be crowned as the next king of Ayodhya. Now I seek your opinions. This is the way he proposes in front of the people. And the people spoke so greatly, so highly of Rama that, that it made Dasharatha question their loyalty towards him. He asked that question, said that by the look of your opinions, by the look of your presentation, it seems like as if I have not taken care of you well at all these years. It's like, no, we are more fond of Rama. That's why we have spoken like this. It has got nothing to do with criticizing your administration. So why I said this is, when a person has this kind of quality, even when he hasn't ascended the throne, Rama had that Bhutadaya. They mention these points. The representatives, they do mention these points that whenever Rama and Lakshmana and his brothers go away for some excursion and all, and when they are returning, it is unheard of. It is unbelievable in today's perspective. Imagine a public leader finding a public figure finding time, halting his entire party, holding his entire journey to a standstill and speaking to people, not because for PR. It's not to establish that public relations, but genuinely caring for the people of his country. Rama used to do that. The people mention that. Says that whenever he returns from the yuddha or any type of excursion, he makes it a point that he speaks to every single person. And that shows what kind of a personality he was. That is Bhuta Daya. No? If I don't have an iota of kindness or compassion in my heart, do you think I will be able to speak with people, random people? It is not. So that goes on to show what kind of Atma Guna, the multitude, the magnitude of Atma Guna that Rama possessed. And it should not depend on any circumstances either. As Yoga Shastra puts it, Yoga Sutra said, Desha, Kala, and Sannivesh, all three of them, it should break the barrier of all these three. Only when it suits, I am compassionate. When it doesn't suit me, when the situation isn't suiting me, then I'm not compassionate. That's not how Rama was. Uh, okay. All right. So after asking the question of Gunavan, which forms the Atma Gunas form the fundamentals of any personality. Then comes the next question, Viryavan. Today we are going to discuss about Viryavan, the quality, the guna, Virya, how it existed in Rama. What does Virya mean? And how does it complement Gunavan? Why the sequence? Why immediately after Gunavan, Viryavan has been told? Now, there are two important elements that are taken into consideration in the Vedas. Because since it is about Iswara to Swara, one needs to understand that when we are trying to build a ramp, when we are trying to bridge the gap from Swara to Ishvara, then what are the two important elements? Without them, there wouldn't be any path left at all. Throughout the civilizations, throughout the history of mankind, we find that these two things have played an important role in ensuring that the Samskriti has lived, the tradition has survived. What are these two things? First one is Brahma, second one is Kshatriya. Okay. Without Brahma and without Kshatriya working together, no civilization can ever survive. If any one of them tries to overpower the other, then the civilization collapses. The Samskriti collapses. The very culture, the very idea, the tradition, everything collapses. And there are several examples for that, especially the Roman Empire. Such a wonderful example of when they tried to overpower the brains, they suffered. When the brain tried to overpower the muscle, they suffered. So there needs to be a balance. And throughout our history, throughout our Bharata Desha Itihasa, we will see that these two are well maintained. There is no uh, any sort of disturbances. There is no room for any disturbances between Brahma and Kshatriya. This is not only in terms of the country, but within oneself are two elements, the Brahma element and the Kshatriya element. That Brahma element, which is about Brahma Jnana, which is about the Jnana, the fundamental of the very human existence, that is first mentioned. That is the first question that should be ticked off. That's why he asked Gunavan. Does he have all these qualities? Because if you count the number of qualities, Daya, Aspruha, Akarpanya, Shaucha, all these qualities that we discussed as Atma Gunas, if a person has all these Atma Gunas, what does it mean? It means very simple thing. It means that they are deeply rooted within themselves. They are either on the path of Atma Sakshatkara or they are already accomplished Atma Jnanis. It's a very clear-cut indication because without being in the path, without being present in the path of in the pursuit of Atmajnanam, or without having accomplished Atmajnanam, one cannot possess these Atmagunas. So the fundamental of the very human existence was first asked by Valmiki. Gunavan, konvasmin sampratam loke gunavan. And immediately then, if there is something remarkable, valuable with us, we tend to protect it. And it happens very naturally, automatically happens. A simple example, which you may have to imagine this because I can't do this virtually. I can't demonstrate this example virtually. So you have to imagine. when we are seated comfortably, and we are aware that there is no threat coming from anywhere. And at that time, without any reason, if an object appears to be approaching towards us at an enormous speed, okay, even though we may think that we have been going to gym, have been maintaining my body, have a well-toned body and all these things, been working on it, even though that is the case, what would be the first reaction any human being when something hurtful is hurled at them at an enormous speed? The first thing every human being tries is to cover their head. It's a natural reaction. If something is thrown at us, nobody wants to protect their chest or legs, feet, nothing. The first thing they want to protect is the head. Why is that so? Because we unknowingly or knowingly, we have admitted, we have acknowledged the fact that there is something very important present here. And we don't mind pushing, or we don't mind raising our hands in order to protect it. This is the coordination that exists between Brahma and Kshatriya. The valuable thing always needs to be preserved. It always needs to be protected. And if we do not have enough strength, enough strategy to protect whatever the fundamental qualities we have, there could be daya, there is shaucha, there is akarpanya, aspruha. All these qualities are there. It is a great thing. But if I don't know how to protect it, if I don't know how to ensure that nothing takes that quality away from me, if I don't know how to make sure that this quality doesn't get disturbed, for that purpose, one needs to have virya, the strength, the courage to protect it. That's why immediately the second question is viryavan. Now let us see where exactly do we find Rama's virya presented in the entire Ramayana. There are many instances where Rama's virya has come forth, but none so more than in Aranyakanda. Interesting thing is, up until Ayodhya Kandam, they were in Chitrakuta, and Bharata finds his way somehow. He was good enough to find out the whereabouts of Rama. He comes to Rama, he speaks to Rama, he argues with him, pleads him, begs him, but Rama was not someone to be budged. So he outright dismissed that. See, I have already given my word to my father. It doesn't matter whether my father is alive now or not. Word once given is done. So I am supposed to stay in forest for 14 years. That was the deal, and I'm going to continue here. You have to go back and take care of the kingdom. All that was settled. And then Rama thinks, Ati parichaya davanya. Okay. Familiarity breeds contempt, isn't it? So similarly, Rama thought that now that not only Bharata, but also ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಯೋಧ್ಯ ನಿವಾಸಿಗಳಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸು ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. They know where we stay. They know our ashrama. So if we stay here, they are going to come and disturb me, disturb us. That was not what Rama was thinking. They said that this place originally belongs to the rishis, ಚಿತ್ರಕೂಟ, ಋಷಿಗಳು ವಾಸ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಆಶ್ರಮಗಳಿರುವಂತಹ ಜಾಗ. And if the people of Ayodhya or Bharata, just because they know my whereabouts now, if they keep on coming here, it is going to create a disturbance to the rishis surrounding us. See, this is called as taking care, not only about oneself, but also about the surrounding. That's what makes Rama a great leader. He doesn't need a crown, he doesn't need a throne to be the king. He is a king wherever he is. Because that Prajanuraga doesn't go away from him. The rishis are also his prajas. It's not like praja means only the subjects of Ayodhya. No, everybody is a praja for him. So in order to take care and in order to maintain that calmness, that peaceful environment that usually surrounds the ashramas, Rama decides, Rama asks Lakshmana, see, ನಾವಿಲ್ಲೇ ತುಂಬಾ ದಿವಸ ಇದ್ರೆ it is going to create nuisance here. People will definitely come here and want to speak with us and interact with us. So the best thing to do for us is move away. Let us change the location. Let us go away from Chitrakuta. That's how they started their journey from Chitrakuta, and they enter Dandakaranya. This is an interesting journey, very crucial journey. Aranyakanda itself holds in the entire story of Ramayana. Aranyakanda holds the most significant turning point, because that's where Sita Paharanam happens. Now they have entered Dandakaranya. What is the first thing that happened in Dandakaranya? The moment they enter Aranya, a huge company a huge group, rishis, who were all there, who were all present there. And they got to know that Rama is visiting Dandakaranya. Rama is going to stay in our locality, okay, is moving to our city, kind of thing. So they were all quite excited and they wanted to meet Rama. So they came in huge numbers. ಎಲ್ಲ ಋಷಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು and they welcomed Rama. ಆತಿಥ್ಯವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ they said that uh, we have something to ask from you. They were very ತುಂಬಾ ಸಂಕೋಚದಿಂದ, they were very shy to ask that, but they have nobody else to ask. So they said that, see, uh, the menace of Rakshasas has grown abundantly in the recent past few years. And we haven't found any solid solution for that. The Rakshasa Badha, which is there in this Dandakaranya, we don't find any respite from that. We keep suffering, we keep losing our place, and we can't stay quietly in one place and continue our thoughts. They are creating a lot of vighna for our tapasya. And since you are here, we hope that you can address this particular problem. Rama says, okay, don't worry. Sita was there, Lakshmana was there, and Rama gave his word. He said, Nabhetavyam. You don't have to worry. You don't have to be scared. ಹೆದರಬೇಕಾದ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. I will take care of the problem, the menace of Rakshasas. And then comes the first. After this, they found their place. They constructed their ashrama. They started living there. And one fine day, Sita poses this question to Rama. Rama, there are three things that a good man must never do. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗಾದರೂ, if he is seeking that greatness, there are three things that a man must avoid at all times. Very interesting thing. Okay. What are those three things? And this is the wisdom given by Sita, none other than Sita. First thing is, one should not lie. ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಬಾರದು. First thing, one must not lie. I still remember as a child growing up, these were some of the fundamental lessons that were told. That if you speak a lie, they used to bare elitini anta hedriso. They used to take this mokchekai, the thing that we used to flip the dosa, the hot one, and they would use to scare us that if you lie again, I will put this in your mouth. That fear was very important. I think that framed that we must not lie. Even today, when ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹಿಂಜರಿಯದು. That should be the way the things should go. Anyway, the first thing that one must not do in order to become great is ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಬಾರದು. Never lie. And Sita says that you have passed that. And there is no room. One cannot even imagine in their wildest dreams that Rama could ever lie. Okay. So I have no problem with this quality. You are already 30% great. Next, the second one is parastri kamana. Okay. To seek somebody else's woman. And it works in both the genders. Okay. It's not just like it is specifically designed for any one gender. It works both ways. Do not seek somebody else's property, not just woman. One could be greedy of, they have couple of bungalows. Maybe let me make some magic. Let me get closer to them and snatch one bungalow away from them. There are so many crooked ideas that people can have. So to not have that vision, to not have that vision towards others' property. That is the second quality that makes someone great. Rama, of course, Trinavat, he said that the entire Rajya, he left the entire Rajyam like Trinavat, just like a blade of grass, he left it and came. So obviously he's not interested, he doesn't show that kind of interest. And he himself has said that Vidyamam Rishabhastulyam. He considers himself to be a Rishi. So for such a person, to seek or to be greedy for other things is out of question. Two things resolved. Third thing that makes anybody a great person is not to seek enmity or rivalry without any cause, without any reason. If you pick up fight, if you pick up rivalry or enmity with someone, you will always end up on the losing side. Now, this is the point where Sita had a problem with Rama. What have the Rakshasas done to you? You tell me. Okay. Have they attacked you directly? Have they troubled you? They haven't done anything to you. Yeah, it is true. I understand that they are troubling the rishis. It's true, but still, you don't have any direct enmity with them, direct rivalry with them. Now, by giving your word to the rishis, you have taken up a fight against the Rakshasas without any proper reason. It's a valid point. Okay. Vairam. Akaranam Vairam, she calls it. You have picked up an Akarana Vaira with the Rakshasas. Here comes the conclusion. Only Rama can resolve such kind of arguments. Says that, see there, it is not like that. Okay. I have given my word. Maat kottupatidin nanu rishigalage. Okay. If I have given them my word that I shall protect them, I will protect them. Especially if I have given my word to anybody, I would do that. Amongst them, if I have given my word to the rishis, the Brahmajnanis, then I don't mind. If I have to give up on myself, if I have to give up on Lakshmana, Swamba Site sa Lakshmana. Even if it comes to the fact that I have to leave you or Lakshmana or my own life, I wouldn't think twice. Because Brahmanebhyo Visheshatah, they're all Brahmajnanis, and if I have given my word to a Brahmajnani, then I shall follow it by all means. Oh, I have already given. So this giving the word, Satyavakya, that Dridhavrata, all these qualities also are going to be mentioned by Valmiki later on, but we will pick up some other instance to showcase his Dridhata. After doing this, I've already given my word, Adrinda, I have to continue with this. And then comes the Shurpanakha. The entire Shurpanakha prasanga happens, and that Shurpanakha prasanga leads to Khara, Dushana, and Trishiras. The confrontation with Khara, Dushana, and Trishiras. I know I quickly fast forwarded to Khara, Dushana, and Trishiras because we are going to revisit the Shurpanakha prasanga some other time, keeping some of the things for later as well. But now, in this particular prasanga, I want to showcase that Viryavan. What is the kind of strength that Rama had? He could have sought the help of Lakshmana. Lakshmana was there, always ready to be on the side of Rama, to work on behalf of Rama, to do anything that Rama orders him. In spite of knowing all these facts, Rama decided and told Lakshmana that no, you take Sita and you protect Sita. I shall handle. How many people were there? The army, 14,000 men with three heads, Khara, Dushana, and Trishiras, with their respective armies, and they were all heavily funded. I'm using the word funded because that is the kind of word that will resonate with the ideas today. We will also face such kind of struggles, such kind of obstacles and oppositions. And when we try to regain that dharma, when we try to regain or maintain that Atma Guna, there will be an uphealing challenge. Of course, there will. Rama faced those 14,000 men and he single-handedly defeated them. ಒಂದೇ ಮಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ 14,000 ಜನರ ಒಂದು ಸೈನ್ಯವನ್ನು ಏಕಾಂಗಿಯಾಗಿ, ಒಬ್ಬಂಟಿಯಾಗಿ, single-handedly he defeated them, which was basically unheard before. Nobody had heard such kind of a story. And the predecessors of Rama, they all had great powers. They were all great warriors. Nobody is arguing against that fact. But no one had gone against 14,000 men single-handed. No chariot, no sarathi, nobody to help you. One man on his feet, burigalalli, with only bow and arrows. He was able to fight and he was able to defeat, not defeat, he was able to kill, finish 14,000 men. If this is not surprising enough or astonishing enough, all it took him was muhurtena. That's what Valmiki says. Within the time period of one muhurta, less than an hour, he was able to complete them. He was able to finish them. What does it show? It shows the kind of virya, the strength, the immense strength. Atishaya parakramaha. What the Vyakhyakara also says. When they say virya, atishaya parakrama. See, parakrama is quite common. It is found commonly amongst many warriors. So many warriors were parakramashali. Vali was also parakrami. Ravana was parakrami. But we are not talking about the regular parakrama here. We are talking about atishaya parakrama. And not boosted by some boons, not boosted by something else, not backed up by the army. Single-handedly, 14,000 men were defeated by Rama. That goes on to show what kind of virya, what kind of strength Rama had. This is one prasanga of Ramayana that highlights Rama's bala of Viryavan. Why I particularly took this incident is I told you that Viryavan, the second guna that we are talking, that is Viryavan comes immediately after Gunavan. So as I said, Gunavan represents the Brahmajnana, that fundamental attributes that ensures that one is either on the path of Atmajnanam or Atma Sakshatkar or already an accomplished Atmajnani. But these gunas have to be preserved. These gunas have to be maintained. And for that maintenance, for that protection, for that preservation of these Atma gunas, what is required is strength. See, brain and brawn, they have to go together. They can't be separated. If both of them are not in good talking terms, then civilizations suffer. And not just civilizations, even human being will suffer individually as well. If our brain and brawn do not work in cohesion, then we will suffer. We should know what to protect. We should know how to protect. Look at us. So, none of the qualities that we talked about in the previous session, Daya, Karpanya, and all these Atma Gunas, do you think they are available somewhere else? Do you think they are to be practiced in 6 months course on Daya? Join this course and you will understand what Daya is. And by the end of 6 months, you will not only get a certification that you have successfully completed the course on Daya, but you will also become a Dayavan. Doesn't work that way. The compassion that we need is within us. So it's all about realization that I am compassionate. I have that Bhuta Daya in me. And I need to enhance that. I need to increase that. I need to experience that. When it comes to experiencing these Atma Gunas, we will find many, many obstacles in our path, in our way. And how to overcome these things is what defines whether we have that virya, that innate strength or not. Rama. And why this particular example is speaking in terms of magnitude, because Ramayana, Rama was essentially a great administrator. If one has to ensure the smooth flowing of a nation, then the brains of the country have to be protected. The fundamentals of the country have to be protected. What is our greatest treasure? What is the greatest treasure of our country? Atma Jnana is the greatest treasure of our country. Jnana and Vijnana, When I say jnana, it is Atma Jnanam. Vijnana is the Shastras, Vidyas, Kalas. All of that is Vijnanam. And this Jnana Vijnanam is the ultimate treasure of Bharatavarsha. And if we have to preserve this, what all things have to be done? What kind of courage, what kind of innate strength does it take for us to preserve this? And one such effort is Gudiya Sambrama. I'm not saying this because uh, uh, I'm speaking on behalf of that. No. To ensure that the tradition keeps in the same line, the tradition keeps continuing. It takes immense strength. It takes a lot of courage in order to bring it forth, in order to preserve it and pass it on. There are four things that needs to happen for anything to remain intact. The first objective is adhiti. That's what we are doing here. We are understanding the fundamentals. We are trying to get to know what exactly makes all these things more brilliant or more stronger. Adhiti, adhyanam should. Lack of adhyanam has hurt us quite a lot. In every discipline, the reason why Bharatavarsha and us as Bharatiyas, what are we lacking is there is lack of adhiti. Adhyanam is not there. Whether it is dharma, arthashastra, moksha shastra, or jyotisha, Veda, Vedanta, Vedanga, whatever the discipline is, we do not find ourselves up to the mark. We have been quite below average when it comes to adhyanam. That has to be covered. There is a saying in Samskrita that one life, one shastra. That's it. For an entire life, for an entire lifetime, one has to pick only one shastra and have to remain completely dedicated, immersed into that shastra. It could be any shastra. And by shastra, I do not mean only the shastras. It could be any vidya, any kala, any skill, anything. Pick one art form and you remain truthful, you remain sincere, you remain devoted and dedicated to that art form for the rest of your life. And that's what makes adhyanam stronger. The root is adhyanam. And after this adhyanam, we have to ensure that the adhyanam is not only mere spending time reading books. So per week, I read 4 books related to Indian culture. It's not going to make us great, isn't it? Because we need to understand that as well. We need to comprehend what exactly the Rishi Hridayam is. What is the vision of Rishi? What is the Rishi Drishti? The Rishi Drishti is very simple. Dirgham Pashyata Maharaswam. That's what the Upanishad says. Dirgham Pashyata Maharaswam. Look long, not short. We have all been wrongly guided and we have become short-time investors. If only we had become long-term investors, then we would all be very happy today, isn't it? Long-term investment is always gold. Yeah, just joking. Depending upon the markets today, if we had invested in gold, we would all have been very rich now, isn't it? So similarly, the gold is that Atma Jnanam. That is the gold, and it takes a long term. It is not going to happen that easily. So if we have that comprehension about that in the long term, that bodha, Bhavabhuti says that it should be sahajascha bodha. The bodha, the comprehension must be clear. I have a beautiful word in Kannada for that. The reason the bodha or comprehension, what is the word for bodha or comprehension in Kannada? It is called as tiluvalike. Why is it called as tiluvalike? Because it is clear, it is plain. Akardamamidam Soumya, Bharadwaja Nishamaya. Akardamamidam Tirtham, Bharadwaja Nishamaya. Ramaniyam Prasannambu, Sanmanashya Manoyatha. Again, Valmiki Ramayana, second chapter. Soon after Narada leaves, Valmiki takes his Shishya, Bharadwaja, and he goes to nearby Tamasa Nadi. He looks at the water of Tamasa Nadi and he looks up to Bharadwaja and says, Akardamam idam tirtham. Idam tirtham. Look at this tirtham. Look at this lake. Look at this Tamasa river. It is Akardamam. has got, it is so clear, it is so pure that it doesn't possess any unnecessary things. It is not mudded, it is plain. Ramaniyam, it looks so beautiful. Prasannam, and it is not with many fluctuations, waves, nothing. Prasannambu, it's very pleasant. How? Look at the example that Valmiki used. Sanmanushya manoyatha. Like how as Purusha's manas will be, similar to that, look at this happening. So that is the kind of understanding, that is the kind of comprehension that is required for us. That is why it is called as Tiluvalike. There should be no Baggada introduced to that. There should be no unnecessary things, propaganda, agenda, all these things added to it. As plain as possible. Sahajascha bodha. That is the second element for anything. So if we have to reach to Ishvara to Swara, or Ishvara to Swara has come down to us, and if we are building it back, if we are following the route back to Ishvara through Swara, first one is Adhiti. The word Adhiti is a beautiful term. Even the term Adhyanam is also based on the same principle. Ayanam means marga. Just like Rama Ayanam, Ayanam means marga. Adhi Ayanam, Adhikritya Ayanam, Adhikritya Ayati iti Adhyayanam. Kimadhikritya Ayati. Adhikritya means keeping that as the goal post, keeping that as the destination. If I'm moving towards it, then it is called as Adhyayan. So keeping Ishvara in mind, if I am Ayanam, if I am moving, if I am taking each and every step, then it will be Swara to Ishvara. That will be Adhyayana. And if that needs to happen, in that process, the second element that is required for us is Bodha, comprehension. Tiluvalike. Tiliyada Jnana. It shouldn't be muffled, it shouldn't be crisscrossed, mixed, nothing. As clear as possible. And we shouldn't get ourselves caught in between the arguments. That's where I'm hinting. Oh, this is our sampradaya, this is the truth. Every other sampradaya is wrong. No, we don't have to get ourselves uh, into these kind of battles. No, there are bigger battles. There are bigger fish to fry for us. There are so many big things to fight together, and we don't want to be fighting internally, saying that my sampradaya is correct, your sampradaya is wrong. The meaning of this line should be like this. It should not be according to you. So that kind of conflicts should be put to rest. And the time has come for us to unite in such a way that we need to present a united front. The threat is real. And in order to do that, we need to have that both. And then comes acharan. The third element is acharan. Adhiti bodha acharanam. Acharan means practicing. Not only moving towards it is sufficient, not understanding or comprehending that is sufficient, but to put it into practice on a daily basis, that is also equally acharanam. And when we have clarified, when we have cleared all these three, adhiti, bodha, acharana, all three of them are successfully completed. Then comes in the fourth level, pracharanam. Not everybody becomes eligible for pracharanam. Only those are capable of pracharanam who have cleared, who have always moved towards that Atmajnanam, who have a clarity of that understanding, and then who have practiced it on a daily basis. Not like once in a while they have realized something and that's it. And they still keep on rewinding the same cassette every single day, any given moment, they are able to realize themselves. That is the beauty of acharanam. Okay. And if we have that kind of acharanam, then pracharanam naturally will happen. These four are required. And acharana and pracharana, the pracharana includes taking someone on that path. Especially when we think in terms of swara. The sadhana, the swara sadhana or the swara yoga or Nada yoga, the Nadopasana, that basically is the core, is the heart of Sangeeta. If we observe that, that happens to oneself. So I'm practicing this particular raga. I have gained siddhi in this raga, and it keeps me elevated at all times. That is acharanam. Asamantat charati gachati iti acharanam. Charanam gamanam. Gamanam jnanam. Asamantat jnanam acharanam. So the complete knowledge, the thorough knowledge, the 360-degree, wholesome, the holistic approach is called as acharanam. If I have that acharanam, only then I shall be able to interact, connect with the audience, and I will be able to not only go myself, but I'll also be able to take them along with me as well. That is the beauty of pracharan. And that happens in Iswara to Swara journey. If I know how the Swara has come down, how that nada, how that shabda has evolved, okay, whether it is in the form of uh, nada, whether it is in the form of shabda, that is basically spota. There are various ways of understanding the evolution, and all this evolution has to be understood. That is the adhyayana. We are trying to get back there. We are trying to get back to that pranava. We are trying to get back to that shabda. Shabda Brahma, Nada Brahma, different names, but it is the same tattva that we are trying to achieve, we are trying to attain. And for that to happen, that adhyanam is there. We have to first establish that all my path is leading towards that Nada Brahma or Shabda Brahma. And then I need to understand that Shabda Brahma or Nada Brahma and the evolution, how Ishvara to Swara has happened properly. Tiluvalike is important. And not only Tiluvalike is sufficient, I have to walk that path on a daily basis. Acharanam should be there. And once that acharanam is established, then I can easily take someone else as pracharanam. Charanam is nijanta padam. Charayati means gamayati, takes something else, prerakam. And we will be able to influence others. In the true sense, we shall become influencers when we do that pracharanam. Okay. All right. For this to happen, we need the idea of the fundamentals. That's why Gunavan was mentioned first. We need to have that absolute knowledge, the complete knowledge of what makes someone an accomplished person, a paripurna. When will we call somebody a paripurna? We call someone a paripurna when they have all these atmagunas. Atmagunas are like the signs of paripurnata. That's why paripapracha. And he started with, give me some hints. I have to ensure that this person is paripurna in the first go itself. In the first look itself, I should know that he is paripurna. How do I ensure that? How do I know that? By understanding that he has atmagunas. If he has atmagunas, then he is paripurna. And after not mere having atmagunas is not sufficient, you see. He should be able to defend that atmagunas. They were atmajnanis. The rishis were atmajnanis. And they were being threatened. They were being put under stress. And when someone else is under threat, who is an accomplished person, who is paripurna, who is a brahmajnani, who is an atmajnani, it is my responsibility to ensure that they are not troubled anymore. And for that, you require immense strength. And that strength is viryavan. That's why virya, that strength, complements. There was a famous Dutch bowler. I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. Okay. Because not the kind of crowd where they would appreciate a football quote, but his name was Johan Cruyff. He was a famous Dutch footballer. He was a philosopher, a football philosopher, so to speak. He mentions that quality without results is pointless. Results without quality is boring. Okay. So similarly, if I have to shift this here, Atma Gunas without Virya is incomplete. It's pointless. It has got no point. I have Atma Guna, but I'm easily susceptible. I can easily surrender. If someone uh, if someone threatens me, then I'm like, okay, okay, whatever you say, you are my commander, you are my lord, whatever you say, Sarkar, आप जैसा कहेंगे वैसा होगा. And that is not done. And I have only strength, only brute force, no Atmaguna whatsoever. I'm lost either. That's boring. How much of fighting throughout life? I'm only fighting, but I don't know for what I am fighting. Do you think it makes any sense? So therefore, Guna and Virya, they complement each other. Virya is required for the preservation, conservation, sustenance, maintenance of Atmagunas. And if Atmagunas have to flourish, if they have to blossom, then we need Virya. My guru used to say, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಗಿಡ ಆದ್ರೂ ಪಾತಿ ಬೇಕು, ಬೇಲಿ ಬೇಕು. So without the pati, without that surrounding thing where we pour water, it's a channelized, organized way of going about it. And Bailey, surrounding. If we do not have this kind of protection, then it doesn't matter whether it is Mallika Pushpam, the plant of Mallika Pushpam, or something else. And Mallige huvin gida agirbodu, papaskalli gida agirbodu, it doesn't matter. You need to have this barrier. Without this barrier, it doesn't make any sense. So that barrier should be there. And this is a defense system. Virya is a defense system. And we get to learn this from formidability. We have to be formidable. We can't afford to be like, we have so many great qualities, but we don't know how to protect ourselves from the dangers. That makes no sense at all. And Rama is an epitome of both of these things. Imagine that. He not only had those Atmagunas, but he also knew the art of protecting those. Why do we need that protection? We need that protection so that the Atmagunas can blossom. That is the whole idea. And it's something similar to this. I play Veena. I'm a great Veena player. ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ವೀಣೆ ನುಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. But I don't know how to take care of Veena. Do you think it is agreeable? I go and I put the Veena outside so that people may know that I am a Veena player. I put the Veena on the street or right in front of my house. It starts raining. Let it rain. So what? Would anybody do that? No, right? So if I know the value of Veena, if I know how this Veena Vadanam, the swaras emerging from Veena can lead me to Ishvara, if I have experienced that, if I have known that, then immediately what I will do is I'll try to preserve it. I'll try to protect it. It's not because of sentimental value, not only because of sentimental value and emotional value, because it's value. Because it has value, we know it is value. Do you think we have any sort of sentimental value towards our head or emotional value towards our head? No, because we understand, deep down, we understand that head is important. That's why when a product appears towards us, we tend to protect our head. So if I understand that Atma is important, if I understand that Ishvara is important, then automatically the next step is to possess that Viryam, to possess that immense strength, and that strength comes. It comes naturally. When we don't care much about few things, then we tend to be aloof about it. It's like, hoga to hoga, nahi hoga to nahi hoga. But if it is something that is very close to us, if we don't want to leave it, and we know that we have earned it with so much of hardships, then we are not going to let it go that easily. We want to fight for it, and we will fight for it. We will try to preserve it. All that we need to do is understand the essence of Atmagunas. What all Atmagunas did Rama possess? And once we have that, we need not work too much on the defense of it. The defense naturally appear. The things that we care immensely are naturally protected by us. For example, Mysore silk sari, a 70,000, 80,000 sari that you have bought, you don't present it, you don't wear it every day. You don't put it in, with regular clothes, preserve it because we know the value. A diamond necklace, same thing. An antique piece that has been passed on to us since generations. Try to protect it. Why? Because I know the value. So it is high time that we understand not only about Rama as a valuable thing for us, but also the Atma Gunas that Rama possessed. Rama should not remain to us only as a person, a man, no, as an image. No. Rama should remain in our hearts as an epitome, as a collection, many qualities. And when we start seeing Rama, when we start experiencing Rama as Ananta Kalyana Guna Paripurnaha, isn't it? He is described as Ananta Kalyana Guna Paripurna. Is not one guna, not just any guna, but it is Kalyana Guna, and not one of them. It is Ananta Kalyana Guna Paripurna. So we need to have that image of Rama as Ananta Kalyana Guna Paripurna. And then we will know how to preserve it. And for that also, Rama himself is the inspiration, like how he protected the rishis. Protecting the rishis and protecting the Atma Gunas are not different from one another. The rishis are the personification of Atma Gunas. So if you preserve, if you protect the rishis, you are protecting the Atma Gunas as well. So thereby, Rama showcased what kind of strength he was. When the threat is real, when the threat is closer to Atma Gunas, then Rama himself single-handedly shall defeat them. That is the brilliance of Rama. That's what Rama stands for. That is why Rama is Viryavan. Okay, that brings me to conclude today's session. We have 20 minutes. Okay. And if anybody has any questions, or maybe if there are any discussions that we need to do. See, the whole point, I'll just keep it very simple. I'll just give it a hint. It might have seemed a little far-fetched today, because Viryavan and how is it related to Iswara and Swara? As I said, if I have to remain in that path towards Ishvara, if that Adhyanam has to happen, then we need to build the footpath as well. We need to have that pavement as well. If we do not have that pavement, then it's very easy for us to be deviated. And that which protects us from not deviating from our pursuit of Ishvara is Virya. It takes Virya to remain in the pursuit of Ishvara. That's why Viryavan, as Rama has showcased, is important. And he has showcased not for himself, but he has showcased it by protecting the rishis.
I just want to ask them all a question, sir, if it's okay.
Yes, please.
If all of you can please just write down what is the takeaway for you from today's class.
There is one question here. How to cultivate Viryavan in day-to-day fast-moving life? The life may be moving very fastly. Let it move, okay? But we have to realize what is our path, lane discipline, okay? If I know what is my lane, what is the path that I am taking, and not deviate myself from this path. So to not deviate from our path itself is virya. Itself is immense strength. It takes immense strength to remain in the path. Overall, when we take a look at what Rama did with the samhara of Khara, Dushana and Trishiras, what do we understand from that? We understand that in order to ensure that the dharma remains, okay, dharma remains in the form of rishis. For them to continue with their tapasya, whatever, whatever the obstacle was, that obstacle was in the form of Karadushana and Trishiras. He eliminated them. And he ensured that the path of tapasya, the path of dharma remained intact. That's all we need to do. That's how we need to practice. So whatever threat we may feel, that if there are certain practices that we have become accustomed to, and if we think, we have to analyze ourselves that if this particular practice that I'm doing, if it is taking me away from pursuing Ishvara, then I have to make sure that I'm quitting that. Simple examples like uh, not paying attention to the kala, the time, sandhya kala. Once upon a time, it used to be such an important element of day every day. That is pratah sandhya or sayam sandhya. Everybody used to retire at that time. Retire in the sense, at least for that particular moment, no movements were allowed from house. Nobody was supposed to go out. Everybody was supposed to, wash their feet. Simple things that were once upon a time a part of our life now have crossed. And that is the time when we become the more busier these days. So it means that naturally there is a way for ourselves to pursue. In Kannada we say, we have a gade, a proverb, gali bandaga turiko. So the winds of the wind that blows usually during the Sindha Kala usually takes us towards Ishvara. And now we have turned ourselves. Say that no, I don't want to move towards that. We are moving towards somewhere else. Analyzing this and ensuring that I remain on track towards Ishvara. That is Viryavan. That itself is Viryavan. We need not take bows and arrows and go and kill someone. For Rama, it worked. For us, it may not. For us to remain in our path itself takes immense strength. That is how we can practice Viryavan in our life. So here Viryavan is like a clam encasing the pearl of Atmavasis. Yes, fantastic. Yeah. Beautiful analogy. Anonymous attendee. Yes, whoever it is. Indaro Mahanubhavalu. Well done. It's a beautiful expression. That's exactly what it is. It engulfs, it protects, preserves. It's like how jackfruit, halasnannu, how jackfruit is protected. If jackfruit starts appearing in tree, ತೊಳೆಗಳೇ ಬರಕ್ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, then everything is lost. It needs to come with some tough outer coverage as well. Virya is that tough outer cover. I have one more task for next week. If it is okay, then I'll be able to share it. I want each and everybody who have listened to this session today, by next week, when we reassemble, uh, I want you to find one more incident from Ramayana where you find the Virya quotient of Rama being highlighted. We have understood what Virya is. One incident is sufficient to give us a glimpse of what Virya is. And at the same time, as we mentioned, it should complement, it should preserve the Atma. So that connection also has to be found. And at the same time, one more incident, because there is one more incident, I'm confident. That's why I'm giving this particular task. So if we can find that, then it means that all of us are involved. Then I will get to know that all of us are on board. Right? Some people might still not be on board. I don't know, but this is one way of ensuring that you are all on board on Ramayana. So it will give more power for us to discuss more in that particular incident, how Rama's Viryavatvam has come up shining. So that can be done. Is that okay? If that can be done, it's a simple thing.
Any questions, please put it there, put it in the box. And I asked a question, what is your takeaway from today's talk? So please just type that out in the chat box so sir can see that.
I fondly remember my student days. Similarly, 70, 80 minutes, 50 minutes. It was such a pleasure listening to my teacher. And as the 70th minute approached, I would find places to hide because because he would ask feedback. He called it as pratikriya. Like, yen tagonde ivattu. Like, I don't know how to say it. He ensured. It's like, initially, it may feel like we are trying to force you to give feedback, but it's a wonderful thing. It helps us to recollect everything that we have heard, and it gives us that perspective on how to present it. So, please don't find it difficult. Please come up with your own way of
Somebody
presenting.
has mentioned
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 things a good man must avoid by Sita. Should not lie, should not have even vision of seeking other women or property, should not seek enmity without any cause or reason. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, there's one more here. Oh, Atishaya Parakrama. Knowledge is the greatest treasure of India. Atmajnana, one life, one Shastra, or good. 4 things required to preserve anything. It is adhiti, not aditi. I mean, of course, I'm sure that you would have meant adhiti. While writing a DH would make it more convincing. Adhiti, understanding the basics. Adhyayana. Bodha, correct. Tiluvalike. And then acharana, pracharanam, very good. This clarity, taking on the path, strength, atmona without being fully useful. Protection, so atmona can function. And the process of disassembling and assembling Ramayana with many inputs from you is very eye-opening. Oh, acha, acha. Okay, I thought, where did I use the word disassembling? I was thinking that I was connecting that with that word. Thank you, thank you. Okay, one more thing. Yeah, takeaway is that the qualities that Sri Rama has were cultivated and required effort, or not necessarily inherited because he was a prince or a fantastic. It is always there, but it needs some protection, some sort of enhancements at all times. Some support system is required. Then Viryavan or Virya ensures that support system, strong support system. If I have to give one more example to equate with what Viryavan and Gunavan, how they complement each other. See, Gunavan is the swasthya, the good health that we have. And the pathya that we follow, the diet that we follow, is like Viryavan. It takes courage to follow a strict diet, isn't it? So, so that pathya acts as Viryavan because it doesn't allow the swasthya to be taken away. So similarly, if that guna has to remain with us, if those atma gunas have to stay with us, then Virya ensures that discipline. Virya ensures that nothing is going to take those gunas. So it is needed. And this image of Rama being immensely strong is somewhat missing. Yeah? It's not much highlighted. It doesn't get highlighted, unfortunately. The picture of Rama for us is, Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, Hanuman, that bhakti, all that is fine. I'm not arguing against it, but at times, especially in today's world, we need the image of Rama, holding that bow in one hand, single-handedly defeating 14,000 men. Imagine what kind of a message it sends to the young minds when they see Rama like this. Kya Captain America, kya Batman, what other superhero can stand in front of Rama, you tell me? 14,000 men single-handedly. I think Purandara Dasa's Kriti is there, I guess. I'm not a musician, so I don't know. The words, lyrics get stuck with me, not raga and all. So, Alli Nodalu Rama, Illi Nodalu Rama. I think this is in this circumstance itself. I mean, in this Sandarbha itself, he has written this Kriti, I believe. Alli Nodalu Rama, Illi Nodalu Rama. They saw Rama everywhere. And it's not like he created some magic or anything. That is strength and strength. Okay, there's one more. How the coordination of Brahma and Kshatra affected social health and the ways are connected it to us through the simplest possible example. Then, thank you. Are there any other characters in Ramayana itself for each being Gunavan and Viryavan? Of course, of course, that's a very good question. It's not like we don't have enough characters who possess both Atma Guna, who possessed both Atma Gunas as well as this Viryavana. For example, Bharata. Bharata is a prime example. Now, what all gunas you see in Rama, you can see them in Lakshmana, you can see them in Bharata. Vibhishana also has got some traits. He's a Bhagavatottama, Vibhishana. So there are plenty of characters who possess these kind of qualities. When it comes to Vidwan Kaha, Samartha, Vidvat, when it comes to Vidvat, I was going to quote how Hanuman was a great Vidwan. Bharata was no less. So the way Bharata argues or puts forth his argument during that entire Rama Bharata Samvada, phenomenal. So we do have characters. The point is when you have access to the highest order of all these things, why go for uh, the next best? When you can access the best, you should not go for the second best. That's all. It means no disrespect to any other characters in Ramayana. Of course, we can find all these qualities in bits and parts in many people. But the question of Valmiki was very clear, isn't it? To find all these qualities in one man. We may not be able to find all of them in. For example, Lakshmana was not Jitakrodha. He did not have control over his anger at times. It was only Rama who ensured that he had control over his krodha. Whereas Rama was always under the control. He held his anger under control. That's how it should be. Okay. The essence of Ramayana is appropriate in any context, Yuga. But even a bit of effort to understand its implementation in the everyday, in our context, necessary part of our effort is to understand with sincerity and honesty. Okay. Sita and Rama were making unnecessary enmity, and Rama's response in the intention behind the action informing the context. Conversation exists within. This all have to be practiced together, which in itself is a commitment to stay. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, thank you. The video is beautifully written by Shiva. Avanige iva Rama, ivanige ava Rama. Avaniyodu upari rupa unte. Okay, okay, yeah, is the one you are mentioning. Correct, correct. Please suggest Ramayana book with Sanskrit text and translation meaning. Oh, what about Hanuman Virya? Why is it not highlighted? Hanuman's Virya will also get highlighted. It will definitely get highlighted. That was a different kind of parakrama that will get highlighted, but that was meant as a service. It was an immediate action. Just because it is missed, it doesn't mean that it is not part of the conversation. That's exactly the reason why I said that it should be that the task was given, the assignment was given for next week, so that if anybody can identify the Vidya present somewhere else as well. The best book for Ramayana is, of course, the Gita Press edition is really good. One can take up that Gita Press edition. With almost in all Indian languages, we have the translations of Ramayana. That is initially that is good. Of course, if you want to study commentaries and all, then we'll have to see. But for the basic, for the beginning, the Gita Press edition is really good. Okay, I think if there are no questions, we can conclude it.
Yeah, I just want to make an announcement. We are having the Chitra Sutra workshop offline in person on 10th of May. I think Priyanka, can somebody just post that here if somebody is not in this? Or, okay, we'll post it in that WhatsApp group with the link. So anybody who is not registered, please register, please attend that class. So we are having a class by Krishna Swami, Guru Prasad, on Chitra Sutra from Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. That will be on 10th of May, it will be a live class. So Sir, if you're free and you can come to Bangalore on that day. This is 10th of May.
10th of May. I'll try. I think I will be in Nagpur
And
that
it's
day.
in the afternoon,
Oh,
3 to 5. 2 to 5, 2 to 5, sorry. 3 to 5 or 2 to 5? 3 to 5. 2 to 5. 2 to
and they're
5.
asking for venue. Someone is asking for venue. Where is the
Venue is BNMIT College. BNMIT College Auditorium. So if you go to the website, it's there. If you go on our Instagram, it's there. Can you please share the link?
1 second.
You can, Priyanka?
I can put it as an answer in the question answers if someone just gives me 30 seconds, I can do that.
We'll give you 20 seconds.
I just answered someone's question who asked for the link, so should be there for anyone to see.
What is the workshop regarding and venue, ma'am? The workshop is regarding Chitra Sutra from Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. It is about art and the importance of doing chanting, the importance of doing yoga, how to mix colors that are organic or rather from minerals, natural, how to make brushes, and the philosophy of Indian art. So you don't have to be an artist to attend it. But if you're a person who appreciates, and I hope you are, appreciates Indian culture, you can attend it. So I think we can end the class. Sir, you will end.
कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।